Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G from Happiness and Crafting. So today I'm going to show you how I made this little mini journal, and I've made it out of the papers that I've made in a previous video, which are really lovely. Just made out of recycled paper. So I thought I'd make this little mini journal. So I'm just going to show you. The closure is a little bit of seam binding. Now I've used the paper here, and I've made two little square panels here for the front and the back of the journal, and I've got a little fabric spine, and you can see that I've sewn in 3 signatures in there, which are just some tea coffee stain paper, so like that. I've just backed the paper with these are index cards that are coffee stained, so it's quite simple and it's really lovely. Love it. And I think if you did some mixed media or you've got jelly plates, these pages would look lovely with nice and colourful, which you could use in there as well. But I thought that was really cute, so I'm going to just show you how I did it. So let's just tie this up together again, so it's got a nice little bow. Now I've got some bits and pieces ready already, so let's pop that to the side. These are the papers. Now I did that in silver. So the ones that I showed you I did with gold in the previous video, but I've done this one with silver and I think it looks really pretty, and that's what's on the front of this one. So I can hope you can see it shining. I think they look really lovely. So I'm just going to pop those to the side. Now I've got the little panels here which I've already cut out. Now I've done them 3 inches by 3 inches. Obviously you can do them whatever size you like. If you wanted a bigger journal you can make them bigger, but just remember that they are square. I've done mine square, and exactly the same with a little bit of coffee stained index card, which I'm going to stick on the back to make it a little bit harder. So those two I've already cut out. I've got the little bit of fabric for the spine, which is like a little bit of like calico fabric. What did I do? I think it's going to be 3 inches long, just over 3 inches, so it just hangs down a little bit, and then we've got 1.5 inches wide on that. So again, if you didn't have any fabric, you can just use another piece of paper if you wanted to, or a piece of card on there. And I've got 3 signatures. Each signature has got 16 pages in it, and what I've done, which has got 2, which are 2 A4 size papers in there, which I'll show you what I've done actually, how I did that. Now you have to take into consideration that if you're in America, the pages will be slightly different. So all as I did for that, I just folded this in half like that, and then off the bottom I cut 2.5 inches on here. Okay, so it's the right length this way. So these are one of the pages. We've got 3 inches this way, and we've got 5 3/4 inches this way. So if you wanted to use any of your odds and ends up in your scrap box, you can do that. They don't all have to be the same size. So I've just used coffee stain paper, and then I folded it like that, folded it back, and then tore it down there. So then I've just folded them in half, and that's how I made the pages. So I've got 3 little signatures in there. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to just stick, and then we need obviously our thread to sew them in. So this is just wax thread on here that I've used, but again you can use embroidery thread or whatever you have. Okay, so I'll pop that to the side. So I'm going to take the little bit of fabric. Now I want to stick these onto the fabric like that, and then I'm going to sandwich that in there so the fabric stays in, and then I'm going to sew around the edge like that. So whichever, it doesn't really matter which way round they are. So I'm going to use a bit of 3-in-1 just to stick this down here. So let me just clean the top, it's all stuck on there. So I'm going to squeeze a little bit of glue out here, just to stick that on there. So just roughly like that. Okay, so you can see how much it's gone in. Just a tiny little gap in there. So let's see, what gap did I have in here? So about 3/4 of an inch on there, but it doesn't really matter. Just eyeball it, just so they're even on each side. Just so you've got enough room here to sew in the 3 signatures. You don't have to have 3, you can just have 1 and have this really close if you wanted to. It's all up to you. So that's on there like that, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick that on top like that. Now I'm going to use a little bit of glue stick because I'm going to be sewing around it anyway. So squash it on there like that and just pop those on. Oops, just like that. Make sure they're stuck down. It can be a little bit scruffy because this is a sort of almost like a little scruffy journal anyway. Like that. Pop that on there and stick that down like so. Squash them down, and then that is your little journal. So once we've sewn around those like that, so it just looks like that. Make sure they're level. Let's make it a little bit level like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop and I'm going to sew all the way around it. So on this one I did sort of like a little ziggy-zaggy stitch here, all the way around there on the back and the front, and then I've attached, not attached, but I've sewn through here, so it sort of like keeps it a little bit straighter, and that's I've just gone over that twice with a little zigzag stitch as well. So that's what I'm going to quickly do now, and I will be back. Okay, so there we go. So I've just sewn all the way around with a ziggy-zaggy stitch around these bit, and then just across there like that. So that's nice. So that's quite simple, quite an easy peasy bit. Now what we need to do now, I'm going to take it this way, we need to mark 3 little points on here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these, I'm going to put it this way round, I think, so it all depends. So let's just mark on here. So let me just take my pencil, and we'll have one there, one there, and one there. Just going to eyeball it. Okay, so then we want to do the middle one. So that's the middle there, middle there, and middle there. Okay, I'll put another one there. Just put the little dots in, just so you know where the needle goes, like that. So roughly. Okay, so that's the top. So this is the little, so I can see which is the top. I've got to make sure like this. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn that in like that. I'm going to open up this little journal here, little signature. I'm not going to just mark it off on here. Pop that on there. So this is where we need to mark the holes, just like that. And again on this one. Pop that in there. That's what we're going to mark the holes, and then what we can do is open this one up and mark the holes in here. Perfect, like that. So we need to make sure that they are the right way up. So that's up. Okay, so now we need the needle and thread and my little book. So my little book, just to make the little holes in here. Right, let's put those out of the way so I've got some room. I've got a little pokey tool. I'm going to take this one, take this out of the way a minute. I'm going to poke. It's getting a bit worn out, my book, to poke holes in. Make sure they're a little bit straight. Poke the holes in like that. And then what I'm going to do, pop that on there, take my needle and thread here, pop it through the middle, and then we're going to go through that middle one there. So we'll start off with the middle signature, like that. Okay, hold on to that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke that through this side, go through the middle like that, and then I can see that hole that I've done, so it pokes up in the right place. And then we're going to go down through the bottom one, find the middle hole and pop it through there. Make sure you don't get yourself all tangled up. And then I'm going to go down through here just to make sure we know where to go, like that. Perfect. Let's even this up, cut that off, and then tie this in just like that. So that is our first signature tied in. Couple of double knots on there. Now you can leave those and make them longer and have a little dingly dangly down. I'm just going to cut them off like that. So that's our first signature in our little book. Okay, so next one, let's make the holes in here. Pop the little holes in, just like that. Pop the needle through the middle one, in through there, like that. And again, I'm going to pop it through this way, just so I know where the hole is, just like that. Then we can go back through. Gosh, we've got lots and lots of rain today, which is really good for the plants. So it's been so dry, but it's gone very, very cold. Okay, so that's that. Now we need to go through, pull that through, put that in. Gosh, find the hole, like that. Perfect. Cut it off. And then we'll just tie it up. Okay, so what I will do, I will speed up the last one. Now you know how I'm doing it. Oopsie daisy. Okay, so that's the three of them sewn in. So there we go. Tie a little knot like that, and then chop that little bit off. Okay, that can go over to the side. Now there we go. Perfect. So that's our three signatures sewn in, so that doesn't take that long really, and I think it looks really nice. So there we go, that's what it looks like. And I've actually got it quite even on there, which is nice. So that's our little book. Now there's a couple of ways that you can actually do a signature, the closure. This one, all as I did on here, I just glued these into here and then you could sew it, but you could actually attach them on before you sew all the way round. You could do it that way. Let me just get a piece of this. This is what I used last time, so I've got some left. So you could also just tie it around into like a little bow. Let's do it this way. Oh, fingers and thumbs today. So we can tie it like that, so you've got a little bow on there like that, which looks quite nice, doesn't it? And you could actually pop it, thread it through there as well to hold it on. You could do it this way like that, so you could have the bow this way. I quite like having it so they're actually attached to your journal as well, so you can have it that way, and then you don't seem to lose it. But what I'm going to do today, I'm just going to do the same as I did before. So how I do it, to measure it, I will just tie a bow like that, and then I'm going to just, that, if you attach it like that, that's going to be your bit that dangles down. So that's how long I'm going to do it, if that makes sense. So then if I undo it, cut this piece in half like that, put that to the side, and I'm going to glue this here. A little bit too much on there, I think. So just stitch that on. Put the other one in this side. Like that. Make sure it's stuck down. And then we just tie it. I won't pull too tight because it's probably not quite dry. And then that gives you the little bow with a little dangly bit down. So there we go. How lovely is that? I think they are so cute, and they're not too difficult to do. And I think they're really, really lovely. So now I have two on there. So let's do this little bow up. On there, so there's two lovely little journals with a little fabric spine on there, and I quite like the silver on there. So you've got silver and gold, so it's got a nice little sparkle to it. I did make another journal cover, which is this one here, like that, and I actually for the spine I just put a separate panel on there like that, and I went over this with some matte medium here just to protect it on here, and it sort of like makes it almost like rubbery, well not rubbery, but sort of feels like a faux leather finish on it, and which I think is really, really lovely. So those are the bits that I've made, and these beautiful nice bright envelopes. So I made a few things out of this paper, and I think they all look really, really lovely. So I'll pop the links down to these envelopes for you if you haven't seen them. I'm making the paper as well. But there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I love these little journals. I think I might make a couple of bigger ones as well. So I think they're lovely. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Alright guys, take care. Bye bye.